Welcome to the Mindset by Design podcast with your host and NLP expert, Andy Murphy, where you will learn the tips, tricks, and strategies he teaches his world-class clients to give you the skills to dominate any business.
What's going on, Mindset by Design crew, and welcome to episode 217. Hope you are awesome as always. I really do, especially because, guess what? It's Christmas next week. Do you want me to say that again? It's Christmas next week, 2018. And yes, of course, I'm going to be putting out an awesome episode all about Christmas and maybe reminiscing over the year, or I might keep that for the New Year edition. We'll see. I'll get your feedback. But we are on, literally, I'm going to give you the date today, the 17th of December, 2018. Do you know what? I'm not going to say it again because you're probably sick of me saying it, but I really like Christmas time. I do. I think it's awesome. And whether you do or not, well, guess what? Let me have a little rant about that before we get started. Do you know what? I grew up and my dad never knew his dad, so he never really understood Christmas. So for him, Christmas was a little bit awkward. He tried his best, he did his best, but he didn't quite understand it, and definitely wasn't the playful kid. Selfie. I know he is inside, right? But he didn't grow up around it. So it was about money. It's about consumerism. It doesn't make sense to him. So Christmas was always a bit strange. They were still good Christmases. But these days, I look at things a different way. Because I see things from a psychological aspect, meaning that people's beliefs and attitudes, they change, right? People start to connect with people more. They say hello to strangers, right? Everyone's focused on actually taking a break and spending time with family. Not just hammering social media or trying to escape from their life. They're actually truly focused on the same thing, and that is to have a nice family Christmas. And people think that's all about money or religion, and to me, it's about neither. It's about connecting. It's about hanging out, and it's also about anchors, right? What's an anchor? Well, from my aspect, that's a trigger response, okay? There's a psychological trigger response. So understand why it's made me laugh, right? Because I was watching everyone maybe a month ago, and what started to happen in the shops. Yeah, you started to get familiar songs. Decorations went up early. Everyone started saying everything became about Christmas. So from my aspect, it's really interesting to watch people's focus and attitude change because everyone started to OCD and become obsessed with Christmas. They did. I don't know about you, but did you start buying presents like a month ago? Right? Think about that. Did you? Maybe you did, and it's okay, but I want you to understand. Suddenly, the roads got busier. Everyone started to go into sort of like that buying frenzy. Oh, we've only got X amount of weeks left till Christmas Day, this whole big day that everyone can spend together one day through the whole year. Think about how crazy that is for a start. But then think about how crazier it is that the whole of society started to respond to these psychological triggers that the shops have actually put out. So the music, the smells, right? The sounds, even the taste, giving you certain types of food. All of this starts to change or trigger or anchor a certain emotional response in people. So everybody starts to get that Christmas feeling. And leading up to next Tuesday, is it? Yeah, next Tuesday. It's crazy because everyone starts to freak out. They all have like a day or 2 days. So the Saturday, Sundays, forget it. This weekend, forget it. I ain't going nowhere near the shops, right? Why? Because everyone's in buying frenzy mode. Black Friday too, right? It's coming up, except for it lasts like a month, 6 weeks. Now, hey, none of that might be you. You might be just sitting there going, Andy, that's nothing like what I do at Christmas. Some of you out there might be going, that's exactly what's going on. But I want you to understand something. Christmas is also a different perspective. Christmas is also not about money. It's not about those things. It's not about accumulation. It's about presence. And I don't mean gifts, although that's pretty cool. I mean presence, stillness in the brain, not focusing on tomorrow, not focusing on yesterday, not focusing on issues, focusing on what the truth is to what is really important. What's the truth? And the truth is, it's us being happy. The truth is, it's us being content. And the truth is, it's us being grateful for what we truly, truly have in our life now. Because this creates certain chemicals in our brain that we really, really want. And that is definitely a serotonin blast, right? The happy chemical. Because if we're producing a high level of serotonin because we're around that warm feeling of familiarity and real deep genetics, if we're with family, then we're not just producing what we produce during the year as entrepreneurs, which is high dopamine, high neuroepinephrine, high adrenaline, because we're constantly driving forwards. So instead, what we're doing is we're actually taking a moment to be still. Yes, and you meditators out there every day, I hope you're doing it, right? But the truth is, we can go even deeper. And deeper because we have this total connection with our baseline genetics if we're around family. And that's different. That's different to everything, right? That's why we might not like our family, but we love them. And they drive us crazy, but we still love them. Why? Definitely because of this genetic connection, but I also probably think it's because we're producing a chemical in our brain, just like a mother does. When they've had a kid, it's called oxytocin. And that means that we don't kill the kids, right? When they drive us crazy. But it also means we don't beat our parents up. You know what I mean? I'm only teasing. When they're driving us crazy. So when we start to look at things a different way, we can go to one aspect. We can go to consumerism, which means that we are being psychologically triggered and anchored and changed into a certain emotional state to make us have a certain buying response. Or we come from a different way and go, do you know what? It's just hanging out with family and really being grateful for every single person we have in our life. Every single moment we have, the highs, the lows, the lessons. And if we begin to look back on last year or this time last year, how far have you come? Probably a massive, massive way. And I want you to be proud of that because it has a certain belief behind it, right? Your belief is that things are always going to get better. Your belief is that you can do this. Or your belief might have been you couldn't do it. Or your belief might have been Christmas sucks, right? Your belief might be Christmas is amazing. I want you to understand that key word that I'm bringing up. Belief. Yeah, belief. Belief is such a powerful concept, right? We believe the earth was flat. Was it? Well, maybe you're a flat earther, so maybe you do. But I believe the earth is round, right? There's been enough science behind it, but I believe the earth is round. And guess what? That's my belief. And I was talking about this at the weekend because I was presenting for a team for a bank at the weekend. It was really cool, good people, nice and relaxed. But again, I blow their mind with my systems. Why? Because we talk about the belief to what's possible, right? And the belief that we limit ourselves with. These are all beliefs. And what we got to understand, it's like a coat hanger. Imagine a coat hanger, right? You know, where you got lots of coats and hats you can hang off something that stands in the corner of the room. Yeah, you know what it is. I'm just giving you a better description, right? The thing is, you got to understand that values, the things that we hold as the most important things to us. That's what a value is. And by the way, if you've heard values and you've never understood what it means, that's what it means, because no one told me that. Everyone's talking about in the personal development industry, got to know your values. Well, maybe, but I have a whole different opinion about that because it's context dependent, meaning your values are dictated by the version of you that you are in that moment. Right? That's what you hold as the highest standard, depending on where you are or what you're doing. Or if you're in desperation mode, your values are going to be different to when you're in absolute abundance mode, right? Again, people don't teach this stuff. Most of the personal development industry is just people regurgitating the same crap that someone else has told them without any thought behind it, without any wisdom behind it, right? Without any experience behind it. So when we start to look at things a different way, back to my coat stand analogy or hat stand analogy, your values or the things that you hold as most important to you are the things that the beliefs hang off. So if you imagine the hat stand as your values and the little pointy bits that you stick your hat or your coat on are your beliefs behind what you value. Does that make sense? A little bit ranty, right? But you get what I mean. So when we change who we are, we change our values, and then we change our beliefs about what's possible. So if you're hanging out with rubbish people, people who suck, man, people who drain your brain, who you just walk away from at the end of the day and you're just exhausted, but they feel amazing, right? That version of you that walks away, who doesn't have the will to live anymore, well, that version of you is what? Well, they have a certain view of themselves in that moment. They have a certain focus, have a certain attitude to themselves, which means they have a certain value in that moment about their energy, what's possible, which directly affects their belief to what's possible. So, why am I going into this rant? Well, it's for a reason. It's because of the episode that we just recorded for you, Sunday Morning Coffee. And we did do it on a Sunday. Today is a Monday. I get it, right? But we did this on a Sunday. And it's a really cool episode because we were actually just hanging outside. We went to the Dali Museum. I don't know if you know Dali, probably one of the top artists ever. These paintings are like 20 foot tall, crazy psychedelic, amazing. My favorite artist by far. It's breathtaking stuff. Well, even the museum, it's crazy. It's whole thing's created in phi or the golden ratio. So it's either mathematically, it's exact. It's beautiful anyway. So we sat down by the water and we just overlooking all these boats, and we'll get into it. And it's me and Steph, and yeah, we talk about beliefs and stress and everything else. And there's actually a guy in the group, Don, shouts out to you, buddy. This was your suggestion around stress, so we added to it and we talked about beliefs. So Don, shouts out to you, buddy. Your question got answered from the Mindset by Design Incubator group on Facebook. So if you have questions, well, you know where you can get them answered. And thinking of getting things answered, it's time for you to step up. I got a few things to help you, I really do. The first thing you can do is make sure that you'll go into the show notes. Right? It's going to be all there for you. And there's a few different options. First of all, everybody here needs to be doing the business brain assessment, right? Discover what level your brain is set to automatically, what beliefs, what focus, what's holding you back. And you really get a brilliant snapshot of what level you're performing at, and you get to know what's next. It's full of videos, PDFs, and questions and answers. It's fully interactable, it's free, and it's the world's first business brain assessment. So go and discover what level your brain is set to right now. So that's step one. Step two, guess what you should be doing? Well, if you're a woman in business, you should be 100% connecting with Steph. She's an absolute rock star coach. It doesn't matter what level of business you're in. She's been trained by me, and she is a absolute monster. In a good way, a beast. Not the Loch Ness Monster, if you've heard the previous episodes. So she's absolute brilliant at bringing the performance out in you, getting clarity, confidence, and driving your whole life forwards. So connect with her. Step three, well, guess what? Well, it used to be, but you probably missed it until I bring it out again for some specials. But this was your opportunity to sit down with me for 45 minutes and have a focus session. We would have met up and face-to-face. I'd have helped you unlock the patterns, and I will have showed you exactly what you needed to do next. But guess what? You missed them. They're not available anymore. And I'll probably be charging for these in the future. So, hey, you got to grab opportunity while you can. And speaking of grabbing opportunity while you can, I have created something that is it's truly brilliant. It's brilliant. I created a very special training. And it's only for people who are ready to step up, actually pay attention, make notes, and take their business and life to a whole new level. It's a 2-hour training. So yeah, it's not this simple little 5-minute videos that make you feel good. No, there's a massive amount of knowledge in there. And it is the top 3 strategies that I teach to private VIP clients that take their brain from 5 to 6 figures, 6 to 7, 7 to 8 to give you an 8-figure thinking mindset. That's it, right? So that's over there. It doesn't matter what level of the game you're performing at, but what you do need to do is play full out when you watch it. So there's the link. You go over to that, spend that time, kick ass. If you got any questions, well, you know where to find me. So make sure you're stepping up and making 2019 amazing. I'm going to be holding other coaching programs and everything else coming into 2019. But the truth is that free training and potentially you getting access to the 8-figure thinker, I know is going to absolutely change your whole life. So hit the show notes up. You've got these 3 options there. And yeah, should we jump into the show? Cool. So come and hang out with Steph and me sitting overlooking the ocean at the Dali Museum in Florida. Enjoy. See you at the end of the show. What's going on, guys? So I just thought I'd start the podcast because we were just about to start. We're sitting here at the Dali Museum in Tampa, Florida, and Steph's just run off because we're right by the water and she's just taking photos of a dolphin that's probably 20 feet away from us.
Pretty awesome. I did. I took some video of it.
Still there. Look at it going up and down.
It's just going up and down. You guys, obviously, this is audio, so you can't see it, but it's pretty amazing to see a wild dolphin that close to you.
Still bouncing up and down. It's crazy.
It is.
That's the thing. You take things for granted here, you know, because of the wildlife. It's crazy. You got like 4-foot birds, 5-foot birds like outside your door. It's and you got dolphins just hanging out. Well, 20 feet away.
It is true though, because I was just in the UK for about 6 weeks, and when I got back, when I saw the ocean, when I saw the palm trees, when I saw the birds that are, chilling in my backyard, I really thought, wow, I didn't really realize how epic this was until I was gone for 6 weeks and come back, especially because it's cold in the UK and it's warm in Florida, so that was another thing.
It is. But guess what? There's also what are these? Are hawks? Buzzards? Same thing, right?
This is where we are right now. So we are facing the ocean, surrounded by, I don't even know how many yachts, just so many. And then there is a little airport, so if you hear an airplane fly by, that's why, because there's a little private airport here. The Dali Museum is behind us, and there's a dolphin swimming right next to us.
Right.
And the other crazy thing that we actually want to talk about today is that there's these little tiny boats out right in front of us right here. And it's like a school for little kids to learn how to sail.
Yeah.
And when I say little, these kids are about 5 years old. They are there's no way they're even 6. They're tiny.
Mini little sailboats. It's cool.
Yeah, they look like toy sailboats. But then there's a main person on a bigger boat that's basically teaching them how to sail these little ships. And so it's just kind of crazy to think of how amazing these little 5-year-olds are going to be at sailing ships and being in the water and knowing water safety and boat safety and all of this stuff when they're learning it from such a young age.
For sure. I mean, I never had any of that. I didn't really even it's funny because I definitely didn't learn any boat etiquette when I was 5. We learned didn't even learn swimming, to be honest. I never really got taught it when I was a kid, but probably kind of important, especially growing up, right? But imagine learning anything that's starting at 5. And that's what even life, even about money, happiness. Imagine learning how to sail a boat. You're going to be pretty epic by the time you're 18, aren't you,
Yeah. And you know what's so crazy? We were listening to Tony Robbins' podcast, and Tony Robbins had on Pitbull. And if you guys don't know who Pitbull is, you can Google him, but he's just a really well-known person in the hip-hop world that's on a million different songs, and then also a solo artist himself. And he was talking about how his mom used to play Tony Robbins in the car on his way to school, and that it was so annoying and he hated it. He didn't understand why she was playing this, but she knew that she was programming his brain for success at this young age. And now look at him. He's so freaking successful and has done so many things.
Sorry, she just took a coffee off me because I was stealing it while she was talking.
Yes, he's trying to steal my coffee. He didn't get his own, so he's trying to steal mine.
But look at the size of this boat. It's like about 4 foot long.
It looks like a toy. Like it looks like a RC, like a, you know, the RC cars. It looks like that, only a boat version. It's like this little thing, but there's a tiny little human, or not rowing it. They're actually sailing it. Like it's got a sail on it.
An RC car? What's that?
Those, you know those RC, radio controlled car.
I thought you meant like in the Matchbox cars we used to have in the UK, like tiny little metal, like collectibles. But you're talking about remote control, RC. All right,
yeah.
That makes sense.
I actually didn't know that RC stood for remote control until just now, though. Fascinating conversation we're having so far.
But it's about Pitbull. Like with anything, it's funny. I was presenting at the weekend to members of a bank, and it was funny to we were going into a topic about basically the imprint stage, 0 to 7, where you're forming like blueprint for life, beliefs, just everything. The blueprint of your brain is getting put down from 0 to 7, and your unconscious mind is hearing everything, right? It's learning everything and building all these pathways. So it was crazy to see, talking at the bank, that we have different like socialization periods in our life where we model business people, so the way they're seeing the world and just their ethics. And what was crazy is that all of these places like Amazon, they all started off the same way. It was like, I'm sure you've seen it, like the photo of Jeff Bezos sitting in an office and it's got like a piece of crappy plastic on the wall with Amazon.com, right? But it was, everyone started from the same place. So it always fascinates me where someone got the drive to be an entrepreneur at that so early, because you got people like Richard Branson, which I hear has got a bad rap in the UK right now, but I hear like Richard Branson was always taught by his grandparents, I think, and his mom, that he could do anything, right? So they used to put him in situations when he was very young, including making him jump into a river which he nearly drowned in, but they knew he'd keep pushing and be able to get through the river and get out. But he did all these at a young age. So it's amazing. Obviously the kids in these boats have sparked this thought and this conversation, but what is it that you were learning at that age? What is it that you were like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old? What were you around?
Well, and you know what I'm just looking at here? So this is, I've been looking at these little kids in their boats, right? And so this is from the yacht club. So not only are these little kids learning how to man a yacht basically at 5 years old, but they're also surrounded by multi-million dollar yachts this second, and this is their norm. So imagine how different we would be if we all grew up around that, right? This could hurt some people and it could help some people. I think everybody kind of utilizes what they learn at a young age in different ways, but it's just kind of interesting.
I was watching this clip by Will Smith the other day. If you've not checked his YouTube channel out, go and check it out. He's just started doing it, I think, over the last year, and each video's got like 5 million hits and some stupid, right?
Yeah.
It's Will Smith. But there was he was talking about like prodigy and mental relationship, and there was a guy, I can't even remember, he was a relative, but he came to him when he was young and he wanted to work with Will, and Will's like, no way am I working with you. And he's like, why? And he's like, because you need to go and get a 6-pack before you even have a conversation. And the guy's like, what for? Well, think about it. What was he doing? Will Smith was testing his discipline, how much he wanted this. Can he be disciplined? Can he set that goal? Can he maintain it? And so as soon as the guy, like I think it was 3-4 months later, came back to him, because look, he goes, now we can start. And it was about writing. It might have even been about writing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It might have even been there. been that stage. And then he told him to read these other like 12 books, which are like novels all around script writing. But obviously he wasn't 7 years old, but it's the same process, right? You have that person that you look up to, that person who you want to learn skills from, and then you have to go through that learning curve no matter what age you are. So if you can start getting that learning curve really early around something, it's like, well, that's how we get, I suppose, Mark Zuckerberg and people like that, right?
Totally. And the other crazy thing is that I was just listening to another podcast by it was the Oprah Winfrey Masterclass podcast, and she interviewed LL Cool J. And so LL Cool J also was talking about how he grew up in the projects in Brooklyn, or maybe Queens, and where there was heavy drug violence and gun violence and all of that stuff. And his grandmother and mother raised him. His grandmother, grandfather, and mother all raised him, and they wanted to keep him off the street. So when he was interested in music, they really, really, really encouraged him to keep doing that, because they knew that was keeping him off the streets and out of trouble. And invested in turntables for him and all of this stuff. And his grandmother in particular had these mantras that she would say, and I have them written down at home and I don't know them by heart, but basically they were saying in a very specific way. It was almost like a sing-songy way that he has just memorized. He almost sings them when he says them out loud. And it was like, you can do anything as long as you put in the work. You are a smart person. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. Like, but he said that they would tell him this every single day, every single day, every single day. And he really believed it.
And if you believe in something, right, and you're getting taught at such a young age, that's crazy powerful.
Well, and it's funny because that's specifically what he said. He was like, I believed them.
Belief, right?
I believed it.
So we believe the sun's going to come up tomorrow. It's an example I've been using it for the past week or so, actually, so that's why I say it. But the sun's going to come up tomorrow. You sure? You sure? Well, yeah, of course it is. Right, we just assume it is. We just have a certain level of belief, and if you were to put that on a sliding scale, what level would that be belief at? Right, it'd be 1,000. But right. So think about that. How certain are you that the sun's going to come up tomorrow?
I also want to share this story because this also talks about how basically it's just so important to follow through with what you start, and also it's all about like just the synchronicities of the world and who you end up with. Oh my gosh, you guys! Oh my gosh,
two dolphins like about 20 feet away from us.
Freaking huge dolphins just going up and down and up and down and up and down right in front of us.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool. So, anyways, with LL Cool J, he is currently a solo artist. He always has been. If you guys don't know who he is, look him up. He's massively successful actor, all kinds of stuff. Anyways, when he was 16 years old, he sent in a demo tape. And the guy who found him was operating a record company out of his college dorm room. Okay, this was Russell Simmons and some other famous person. But at this point, they were nobodies, right? Running out of their dorm room. And he said, okay, I listened to well, first of all, at 15 or 16, he was calling this guy every day, following up. It's absolutely incredible. Like, I know when I was that age, I would have never done that. I would have maybe called once, if that, and then just not called again. So that level of ethics and standards that he had for himself, tenacity, right? Now this is the second part that's so interesting. So basically he had a group at that time, like a little boy band type of thing, and the guy finally
he'd love that comment.
Well, he probably wouldn't like that.
Russell Simmons had a boy band.
No, Russell Simmons didn't have a boy band. LL Cool J was in a group.
I'm sure he's
happy. Let's say in a group. And so basically the guy called him and was like, hey, I really liked your demo tape. Get all your band down here. Let's record a like legit demo. And he's like, okay, great. So he tells all his friends. And remember, these kids are 15, 16 years old. So it's not like they had, families to take care of or any of this important stuff, right? They just did not have the belief that he had. So they said no. They did not want to go down. They didn't believe the guy. They didn't believe him. They didn't believe LL Cool J. They didn't want to do it. They didn't want to waste their time, right? So what happens? LL Cool J goes down, records the demo by himself, and all of a sudden, right then and there, became a solo artist. And the rest is history, right? So imagine what would have happened if those guys would have said, okay, yeah, let's try it out. We'll believe you. We'll go down there. Yeah.
Belief again, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the sun coming up tomorrow. Well, guess what? LL Cool J had that belief about his future. So think about what that really means. What picture was coming into his head? What attitude he had? What he was saying to himself? The feelings that were pumping around him, right? And when you've got that level of belief, then guess what? The noise starts to drop away. The noise that you have around you in your head, other people questioning you, the expectation that you've decided to put on yourself, the feelings of hesitation and anxiety, all of that stuff, right?
Yeah, and the other crazy thing is, think about this too, is that those kids, 110%, did not have the same programming going into their brain that he was.
No way.
From his grandmother and his mother and his grandfather. You can do it. You can do anything. I wish that I could remember the exact saying, because it's a rhyme. It all rhymes, basically.
Okay.
Where it's like, no matter, and so in a nutshell, it's just no matter what you do, to do it to the best of your ability. Whether it's 5 minutes long or 10 years long, make sure that you do the best of your ability, right? So anyway, it's just interesting.
So think about that, because a lot of entrepreneurs these days are always on that roller coaster. Well, not these days, it's always been, but the roller coaster of stress, right? Having anxiety, having fear, not getting things done, and understand what that really is about. Do you think that, like, world champion athletes who are about to... Sorry, just pressing pause there. There's lots of people, right, in public. There's lots of people walking around. So stress, right? Think about that as an entrepreneur. So what did we say about belief, right? The belief the sun is going to come up tomorrow. That stronger conviction, that knowing that even not even a self-questioning 0.5% of doubt that the sun's going to come up tomorrow, right? Well, if you're in the UK, you might not see it because of the clouds, but it's going to come up, right? And if it doesn't, then hey, we won't know anything about it. But that level of belief and commitment and focus and expectation and doing anything to achieve that goal. So when people talk about stress, what is it really that is causing the stress? Well, it's thinking about a past event that you don't want to happen into the future, or stepping into the future in your head and not having a clear, definitive goal, vision, or just outcome. Because if we don't know where we're going, what's the classic statement? Any road will get you there. So what happens is, in the brain, because we don't know what's next, it causes anxiety, right? It causes stress, causes us fear. And when we're in fear mode, well, guess what is your level of belief? Yeah, it's not too good, is it, right? Because how can you believe something if you're coming from fear? How can you believe something if you're coming from the wrong vision? Does this make sense? So if you start to understand that, why are you stressed out? Well, you don't believe the deal's going to close, or you don't believe that you're capable, or you don't believe that you're going to hit this target, or you don't believe that person is going to step up, or you believe that person is going to let you down. Why? Because they always have before. Or not that person, somebody else has always let you down. So when we start to understand the level of belief is what's starting to create or trigger a fear response in you, then it changes everything. Because you can know now for a fact, is your level of belief about your project, what you're going to achieve, or your ability the same level as the goddamn sun coming up? No, right? So my question is, what if it was?
I absolutely love that question. So there's two questions, one question and one statement that I say to myself almost daily. And one is, am I being the vibration of abundance, or am I being the vibration right now of scarcity and lack? And if I know I'm being the vibration of scarcity and lack, I know that I need to change to the vibration of abundance, right? Because that's what I want in my life. The next thing is that everything is happening in my favor, even the bad things, everything. And now I'm going to add, is my belief in this, in myself, in what I'm doing, as strong as my belief in the sun coming up tomorrow? And if it's not, then I know that's something that I need to work on.
again, what if you did? Right?
Yeah.
It's a brilliant question. I also like the other question. Doesn't matter what situation you're in now. What now? Okay, so a person let you down. All right. What now? Right? Oh, you haven't got income that you wanted. All right. What now? Oh, I don't feel good. Okay, what now? I don't know what I'm going to do next in this project. All right, yeah, cool. What now? What next? What next? What next? What's next? Feeling stressed. All right, you're going to continue to feel stressed forever? No. When are you going to get over it? I don't know. I've always been stressed. Right. Was there a time in your life that you were not stressed? You were calm? Well, yeah, right. So you know how to be calm. So what would happen if you felt that way now? You feel pretty good, wouldn't it? Right. So what would happen if you felt calm like you did before into the future? Or about this next project? Or whatever else that you were stressing about? Does that make sense? So we start to direct you back to a certain feeling. That feeling is now you can connect to an image of what you want to be and who you want to be in the future.
So I would love to kind of circle back to this idea of belief, because I really want you guys listening to understand that your level of belief is really what is imperative for your success. So for example, I have the pleasure of working with many women one-on-one in my coaching business, and there's certain women that I work with, and it's like, I just know that if we can get their level of belief, or when we get their level of belief up to match their potential, they will absolutely kill it. But it's so funny because I could see them literally from one day to the next having this massively successful business because they have the experience, they have the expertise, they have what it takes, but their belief is making them stop. Their belief about what's possible for them, their belief about what they can do, their belief about what's, all of the things is what's stopping them from greatness and holding them back from greatness. So once we start to tinker with that and change that in the subconscious mind, that's when they start to see success.
And you hit the key words there a few times. And we all have different learning modalities in the way we perceive life. And the key thing there was I can't see. I can't see the future. I can't see how that's going to work. I can't see myself doing that. I can't see the money coming in. I can't see the business working. I can't see what to do next. Do you get the idea? We can't see. So what do you think that person needs to do to get clarity? Right? They need to see what the outcome is. So what happens is outside of the boundary that we put around what's possible is all possibility. And if we don't design, mindset by design, right? If we don't design what those possibilities are, we aren't presenting options for the unconscious mind. And you might have heard me say this before, and if you have, good. Just because it's common knowledge doesn't mean it's common practice, and it's the biggest thing, right? So guess what? We present one option, the unconscious mind will take it. We put 10 on the table, it will open the filter up to see what's possible, and then we're going to find the one that excites us the most to do, right? Because that's where the passion's going to come from. That's where your belief about what's possible is going to come from. But if you're running into a wall again and again and again and again and again, and you're hurting your head, right? Probably want to take a step back and have a little look to the left or the right. I know, because I know. Because there's so many times in my life that we get so fixated on a certain concept or a certain vision or somebody, an expectation of somebody. And ultimately we become attached to it and kind of a little bit obsessed with it, where the truth is what we want could be 2 degrees away. But because we become so obsessed with one way that we don't see the other possibilities. But if you're in a situation right now, what if you did? What if you presented other opportunities for yourself, other possibilities about that situation?
You know what just came to me is that Wayne Dyer quote. We love Wayne Dyer. He says, so most people say, I'm going to butcher this a bit, you guys, I'll do my best. Most people say, I'll believe it when I see it. And he says, really, the truth is that when you believe it, you will see it.
When you see it, you will believe it.
No. When you believe it, then you'll see it, because your belief is So let's say if you believe you can be successful, then you'll see success. If you believe that you are an awesome person, then you'll start to see everybody around you start to mirror that to you, that you are an awesome person, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, you could flip it. If you see what it is you want and see who you're going to be and see who you're supposed to be in that situation, then you're going to have more belief behind it.
Right, but then you'll see it in real life. Because that's what he was saying, is that if you believe it, then you'll see it.
So if you see it, you believe it, and if you believe it, you'll see it.
There you go.
See, that's some next level.
Yeah, that's some next level shit right there, you guys. We just created a whole new little meme that we can create there.
No, all based off Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
But it's true. I love it.
So it's kind of funny how every time we go into these podcasts, we really don't know exactly what we're going to talk about. But this one had a lot to do with belief and how important it is for each and every one of us to constantly be examining our own personal beliefs and isolating the ones that are not serving us, and then really questioning that. What if it was different? How would it feel? What would it look like? Who would I be? What would I be wearing? Right? But so we can all do this. This is 100% something that's fixable and doable for each and every person out there. However, it takes a willingness. It takes a tenacity, because it doesn't happen overnight, right? It can happen really quickly. I really do believe in folding time, and especially if you get coaching and help and all of this stuff, then it can 100% happen quicker for you. However, it starts with that willingness, because I think you guys all probably know someone in your life that just is stuck in misery, but really has no desire to question their own beliefs about it. So they just sit there and complain and moan and complain and moan and get stuck where they're at, but have no idea that really it's stemming from their own belief.
Yeah, but again, we go back to perception, right? I talk about this a lot. I think I spoke about this before, man. But perception is everything. It really, really is. And the perception of what that person's potential is just their perception or their view of it. So if you can, it's like how do you change someone's, how do you switch someone on to do better sales, right? You change their belief about what's possible. Plain and simple, right? If you believe that anything was possible, you believed you could close 30 deals a month. If you believe that, just like the sun, right? Then what is more likely to happen? Yeah, your focus changes, your attitude changes, you're talking to yourself different, which means you're confident, which means that you're in flow when you're talking to these clients, which means your focus is then to actually serve and help them, not to take from them. And if your perception or your belief was around just pure helping these people get into the product and service that you want them into, because you know that will help them, then you're going to be relentless, right? Relentless. And if your belief was so strong, then you would be heartbroken to get off that phone, because if you let them go, they're going to continue doing what they were doing, and what they were doing was looking for an answer, and you allowed them to go and look for the answers somewhere else instead of into your product and service. And that comes from your belief. It's the same with the 8-figure thinker and all these other stuff I'm putting out. My belief behind it is so big that I know anyone who goes through any of those systems, and I don't give a damn what level you're at, is going to radically change your life and your performance and the way you think, feel, and act. It's just a fact, right? So, and I know, like when Steph brings with clients on, like for women in business, again, it's just changing that belief to whether they've got a startup idea or they've got an idea they want to take to the next level, or they're just confused about what that next step is. It's really to do with what belief they have in themselves, because if you believe that you could hit a certain result, then the steps to get there sort of like become simple. They become obvious in a way, because, well, of course you've got to talk to that person or bring that person on, or of course you've got to close that level of deal, because if you didn't, then you wouldn't be able to earn that level of money and help that level of person, right? So belief is really everything, because people are going to give me shit for it for sure, but Elon Musk, right? I talk about Elon constantly.
I talk about Oprah constantly, so that's okay.
Yeah, but Elon, what do you think Elon's belief is to take us to Mars, right? Do you think he'd think it? Well, I don't know. We'll see. What kind of it? We'll see. He says.
Well,
that
and also,
we'll see.
how much judgment and shit has he gotten for wanting to go to Mars? Right? How many people have told him he's crazy, you're stupid, this is a dumb idea, this is a? Do you think he cares?
Obviously not.
No.
Right? His belief is so strong.
So strong.
Why he wants to take us there. So again.
So speaking of belief, so I just want to give you an example of how freaking powerful belief is. So for example, I just had a client and we worked together probably for about 6 months. And when she first started, she had just started to get consulting work, right? She has a whole backstory that is epic. I won't bore you with it right now, but to get her to this point was some effort, and she got to a place where she started to get consulting jobs on top of her regular 9 to 5. So I was asking her in one of the sessions, is consulting something that you would like to do? Like, would you like to one day let go of your corporate job and just do work for yourself, basically be your own boss? And she said, yeah, 100%. But this woman is a very analytical type person. She does stats and spreadsheets and things like that. So she had actually done a spreadsheet that calculated about the rate that she had been receiving clients. At this rate, she would need about 5 years in order to build this business, right? This side business, and quit her current job. And I said, why 5 years? Why not 5 minutes or 5 hours or 5 weeks or 5 months? Why 5 years? We can totally do this if you believe you can. And it was like, I almost saw this veil get lifted off of her eyes, because I don't think anybody had ever even given her that opportunity to believe something different, that it could be shorter, right? We can totally full time. So essentially, we started to work on that. Every single session, we were doing guided meditations around this and working around the belief around this and changing her vibration around this. And so when I was in the UK, I actually met with her, and she was able to tell me then and there that she has done what she thought was going to take her 5 years, which was replace her current income in her corporate job. She's going to do it by December. She gave me a date. I can't remember what it was, like December 30th or something. And that was exactly 5 months, you guys. 5 months instead of 5 years. So imagine if she wouldn't have been meeting with me and have me kind of, explain to her, no, we can totally do this. It's possible. If other people do it, you can do it. She would have just been plugging away. And guess what? It would have taken her 5 years, because that's what her belief was.
It's true. And that's where we go into that Parkinson's law, the law of Parkinson's, where we were able to, I spoke about this a lot, but you're able to fold time, So what would take someone a long time can take a short time. Why? Because, well, simple, their expectation around what's possible changes their perception, right? So I love that example that Steph gave them, because the truth is, it's just It's just finding the right people. It's just stretching the boundary around your pricing and what's possible. It's stretching what network and who you can connect to that's possible. But that's all it really is, right? That's how I show people scale their business, scale their thinking from 5 to 6 figures, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, whatever it is, right? It's the same thing. Believe getting on that stage, believe whatever. It's so powerful, right?
Yep. It totally is. It really is. So many amazing examples.
So obviously we can talk about this for quite a while, but we've been picking your brain for about half an hour. So hopefully that's helped somebody. I really mean that, because it's nice to feel happy, especially coming up to Christmas time as we are, and you're setting new goals for 2019 and you're setting new visions for 2019. I want you to play at a different level. I want you to really start to think about taking the boundaries off what you thought were possible. What would be possible if you found the right people, if you charged what you're worth, if you completed that project or that funnel or whatever it is, right? If you hit that next financial goal, what would it be like? What's the end moment in time where it's happened, right? Who's around you? Where are you? What have you done differently? What's your new belief to what's possible, right? What's the image that you see in your head that's different from the one now? How does your bank balance look? when you start to understand and start to play around with these different possibilities and different options, you're going to find that they feel way, way better. And if you're controlling that emotion, it means you're controlling your belief and attitude towards what you're about to do. And that's what I teach with peak state changing. So I want you now to step into that peak state, open up what's possible for next year, adopt a new belief like the sun's coming up, and go and make this happen. Sound good? Beautiful. So me and Steph are going to love you and leave you to the next episode. We're going to enjoy the cool water. And the cool, it probably is cold actually, it's winter, right? But they're going to watch these kids bounce around on their mini yachts. On their mini yachts.
Go see some amazing artwork in the Dali Museum.
Yeah, Dali's artwork's like 20 foot high and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely
psychedelics
incredible.
Without psychedelics for sure with Dali. But yeah, you have an amazing week until the next time we speak. And any questions or anything that you want to follow up with for the next topics, yeah, you know where to find us.
Bye, guys.
So, there we go, crew. The end of episode 217. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with Steph and me. A little bit different from the other episodes. I know. But I don't know, with the YouTube channel coming out and everything else that I'm bringing out, I think these are the way to go, right? I love these concepts, and you can follow us along, and any ideas you've got, I really, really want to hear them inside the incubator group. Tag me, messages, email me, whatever, right? Just I'm always open to some new ideas and concepts. Really, what I want to develop this into is a TV show. I travel so much, so it gets a little tricky, but that's what I want. And that's what I'm going to create. So speaking of creating, make sure that you're hitting up the show notes right now. Do it before you jump into the next thing, before you jump into something else. Do it. Jump into the show notes and make sure that you are, finding out what level you want to play at. First of all, everyone needs to do the business brain assessment. Do it now, right? Second thing is, if you're a woman in business, time to take things to a whole new level. Connect with Steph. Fill the application form in, and I'm sure you will meet with her. And what else? Well, we have an absolutely world-class, truly brilliant, incredible free training for you. It's the top 3 steps that are going to help you scale your thinking to scale your business. It's the same tactics I've taught to billionaires, royalty, people who are in $300 million businesses, and also people just getting started with a new idea, concept, or whatever level you're at and whatever career you're in, it doesn't matter. This webinar is for you. So get your notepad, get your pen, get yourself pumped up, give yourself a couple of hours, and get in there. I know you're going to love it. And you're like, Andy, don't have a couple of hours. Well, press pause, right? It doesn't matter. But get in there and go and do it now, okay? So until next week, where it's Christmas, I'm going to put out a new episode, probably Christmas Eve. So maybe the day before, we'll see. So you have an amazing week until then. Hit those show notes up. See you in the incubator group. And message me with any questions. Oh yeah, write a review. And another oh yeah. Why don't you smile for me?
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode of the Mindset by Design podcast with your host and NLP expert, Andy Murphy. We'll catch you next time.